Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. This week I really want to talk about a question that it keeps coming up a fair bit within my clients and within what I'm seeing on social media, but that is really how to overcome the fear of quitting HIIT and getting fat. So for most people, not all, most people, doing HIIT is a really addictive form of exercise. Now, I know this personally because majority of the time, this is what I used to do. HIIT training was my main form of exercise, and majority of my clients as well that do come to me are in a really similar boat as well. So I'm going to help you guys understand why it's addictive first, and then why we can't shake it, and then I'm going to give you some ways to overcome the addiction, okay? So the number one reason that we become addicted to it is because once we push our bodies to the limits, like we do in HIIT or cardio, we get a spike in cortisol levels, okay? Which is exactly why we walk away feeling on top of the world. Cortisol, in case you didn't know, is actually a feel-good hormone, okay? I know cortisol is usually spoken about as a bad thing, but it's important to know that it's actually a good thing, but the exception is in the right dose, okay? So to give you a brief rundown on what the role of cortisol is inside your body, and I guess help you understand it a little bit more. When you wake up in the morning, okay, cortisol is supposed to naturally spike. And that's the thing that actually wakes you up. And when it wakes you up, and it gets you going for the day. Now, what happens is at night, it's naturally supposed to drop so that you can get to sleep. Now, when cortisol levels drop, this is when your body will begin to rest and digest, hopefully. And I say hopefully because most of the time people with high cortisol levels typically don't get a solid night's sleep. So when cortisol drops, this is when your muscle growth actually occurs. Now, the problem is highly strung people that don't like to rest, they usually spend a lot more time out of the rest and digest state, which means their body progresses so much slower, okay? So I want you guys to picture this for a second. You lead a busy life. You've got like an on-the-go kind of job. You drink coffee probably. Like I said, you're constantly on the go. Think about the last time that you legitimately got to rest and relax and just breathe, okay? Then you go and you add on all of this high intense exercise because it makes you feel good. But really subconsciously what's happening is you want to train in the exact same mentality that you lead your day-to-day life because you don't really know any different. And your cortisol is constantly elevated. Your body is down-regulating its receptors, and then what's happening is it's not going to respond in the same way or the same amount of cortisol anymore. So what you need to do is then you need to do more training just to make you feel normal, which includes doing more HIIT or cardio, okay? You, my friend, are actually the person that needs more meditation, more calm walks, and more freaking rest. I know that you don't want to hear it, but it is true, okay? It might not even feel like it, but this kind of life is a moderately stressful life, okay? The kind where you get stuck in traffic or you have a crappy day at work every now and again. Now, if you compare this moderate level of stress historically to caveman days, it will translate to lack of shelter, poor sleep because they didn't feel safe, and no steady source of food. So it doesn't make sense if your body is feeling this moderate stress from training so hard all the time, and obviously your outside influences, work, traffic, whatever it might be, which usually promotes lack of quality sleep. Your body's gonna hang on to the calories that you're consuming. Then you'll want to eat more of the calorie dense and sugary foods that taste good because it makes you feel better. And in this state, your body won't want to burn fat, or it's going to make it really difficult for you, okay? This can all lead to really poor hormone levels like high cortisol, which I've been speaking about, which is actually all about giving you more energy now instead of building muscle or speeding up your metabolism. So basically, what I'm saying is if you're working out to be able to maintain a lean physique where you feel strong, you mentally feel good, have consistent high energy, have good overall health, then by giving into your HIIT or cardio addiction sometimes can mean that you're a little mouse running on a little hamster wheel, okay? In the fitness space today, everything you see, almost everything you see, is a more is more attitude, and I'm quite frankly sick and tired of it, okay? When you stop and take a look around, anyone that has this all or nothing attitude in 80% plus cases ends with people with hormonal issues, weight regain issues, binge eating behaviors, poor relationship with food, addiction to exercise, and that's really only just the beginning. Guys, I know this. The people that I work with in the beginning are usually addicted to this form of training, usually carry all of these traits, and are scared out of their freaking brains that they're going to move backwards. Now, little disclaimer here, I don't want everyone thinking that HIIT training is all bad, okay? I do understand the science behind it, and it can be utilized in a proper way as a tool, okay? If you want to know how to utilize it correctly, I actually did a video, Should I Quit HIIT? Which I will link below for you guys if you haven't watched that and you do want to catch up. Quitting HIIT, or even overcoming the obsession that you're going to get fat, is a really tough habit to break through, okay? And it might begin with a slow reduction at first if you need to. It really is a complete mind game, the whole thing. You know, strange timing, but I actually have a lot of clients at the moment all at one time who seem to be suffering with this mindset, okay? They're all working on training their mind to break free from this feeling, you know, which I guess is what has really inspired me to actually do this video this week on this topic. The first problem is you're generally seeking a feeling that you're getting from HIIT or cardio right now, which is already a bad connection with exercise. It's not an ideal connection, yeah? That feeling of exhaustion that you usually get from the higher intense training is not the determining factor of whether or not you had a good workout or not. Remember, you're getting that feeling because your cortisol has gone up, okay? But that's no measurement for progress. Are you getting stronger? Are you building muscle? Are you happy with the way that you eat? Are you genuinely happy in your life? Or are you short-tempered, rushed and stressed all the time, you know? I actually spoke about this a lot on my video last week, which I will link below, where I explain actually how to measure your progress. If you did miss that video, it is a must watch. It's one of my favorite to date. Most of you already know me though. You know, you guys know, most of you know that I was a HIIT junkie myself, the type that couldn't function without it. I felt like if I missed a session that I needed to replace it with something else or double up elsewhere. I reluctantly did stop, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be creating this video, but I stopped after I enlisted in a coach myself and went to weights. For a number of reasons, you know, but mostly because I always train balls to the wall twice a day, HIIT cardio mixed in a little bit of weights, which was essentially cardio anyway. And for the amount of effort that I was putting in to all of my training, and the low calorie diets combined with my binge eating antics, was nowhere near where I wanted to be. Amongst everything else though, you know, I hadn't really realized what I was actually doing to my health. I speak about this a lot more on my Should I Quit HIIT video, which I did link below for you guys. So I can tell you now, when you go to the gym and you do lift weights and you don't do cardio, it's not only going to not feel the same as what HIIT or cardio does, but that's okay, guys, because it's not the feeling that you need to chase either. You know, it takes practice, and it does take reassurance from someone who does know what they're talking about, to be able to break through that mental barrier. You know, something really interesting, there were studies actually done to show that people that crave and seek this rush that you get from HIIT and cardio, they usually leave things to the last minute. They usually run late, like only scraping in the nick of time kind of thing, because they're craving that adrenaline rush that comes from doing these things. It's a spike in cortisol, you know. All right, guys, I think I have waffled on enough, more so than usual today, but now I'm going to tell you what you need to do, okay? So first things first, you do need to start by reducing your stimulus intake over the course of 6 to 8 weeks. So things like fat burners, energy drinks, and coffee. Don't go all out straight up because, warning, you are going to get a reduction in energy, but your body does need to regulate its own natural energy again. It might look like, say you have a coffee a day, go half a shot of coffee to begin with, or a coffee every other day, and the same goes for fat burners and energy drinks. Then you can slowly remove it again from there, okay? Try your best to eat a lot of healthy fats as well. Healthy fats like avocados, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, they're all really great choices. Don't be afraid to eat these, guys. Remember, it's calories that matter most, not low fat or low carb. Personally, on average, I eat about 75 grams of healthy fats a day, roughly, and I opt for more healthy whole foods most of the time. Stay away from the heavily processed stuff that's high in sugar as well. Then, and you're not going to like this, but you need to get off the HIIT training and replace it with traditional resistance training. Particularly if you've been on the HIIT training bandwagon for quite some time. Now, when I talk about resistance training, I'm talking low reps, okay? So 4 to 8 reps of proper strength training with lots of rest in between. Don't be afraid of the 2 or 3 minute complete rest period in between your sets either, which I know will be hard for most people. And make sure that you stretch after training as well to make sure that you get your body into that rest and digest mode. At first, guys, it's going to feel really awkward, but it's what you need to do, okay? Don't forget at night, and I like it's night right now and I should be off my screen, but shutting down off your screens nice and early, dim the lights, take that time to relax. If you push yourself to actually be patient and actually rest, work hard when you're in the gym, feed your body well, and then manage your stress and your sleep, results will 100% follow, okay? You need to trust in the process. If you're scared of quitting HIIT, but you know you need to, then doing this under the guidance of a coach can always be extremely helpful too. It doesn't have to be me, guys. Even though almost every single one of my clients fits the bill of this perfectly, it's just a really great place to start. Without my coach, I wouldn't have broken the habit that I did a couple of years ago now, okay? Remember that you will most likely need a few months, maybe up to 6 months to get everything back in really good working order. So be patient, especially if you've spent some time punishing your body pretty regularly. All right, guys, that is it for another week. I hope you enjoyed, but until next week, have a great week.